My name is Jenni Pompi. I'm a council member for the city of Greenbelt, and I have been serving on council for 2 years. I have always been a service-minded person. I come from a family that values service, and I'm always looking for opportunities to serve. I have always believed that local government is vital. It's where the rubber meets the road. It's where you can do the most good in your community. So I saw this as an opportunity to really step up and help my community. Several years ago, I was a reporter and I covered lots of municipal government beats. So I sat in on many council meetings all across Prince George's County. So I really learned the functions of city councils and city government, and it really struck me as how important it is, but how few people pay attention to it. So I really wanted to be a member of this council so that I could elevate the work that we do and engage more with our residents so that they know the services that we're providing to them. I love to start my weekends with a walk around the lake with my dog or with my family. I love to go to the library. I'm there very frequently. They know me by name. I enjoy sitting in my backyard reading when the weather is good, or sitting by my fire and crocheting. I love going to local festivals here in the city when we have them. I like to pop into the co-op and do my grocery shopping. You know, I'm a homebody, and I like that there's so much to do here in Greenbelt. I guess I would say my favorite food is probably pizza. We like to go to Joe's, usually my family of 4, which is my husband, me, and our 2 teenage boys. We get 2 large pizzas, 1 cheese, 1 pep, and we get them well done. That's our standard weekly Joe's order. But I like that Joe's is so close. So, I mean, because I live in Lakeside, so I can get my pizza. It's like, you know, a 3-minute drive. So that's really nice. I really love the Greenbelt Cinema. I mean, I think we're so fortunate to have that here. My family and I are members, so we try to go to movies a couple of times a month. And, you know, the fact that they show movies that aren't necessarily always blockbusters, it gives us the opportunity to see lots of different kinds of things. And the staff there is so nice, and the screen is so big, and it's like a great family outing and such a great resource to have here. So it's probably my favorite. When I was in college, I would come here and you could get a ticket for like $5 when you were a college student. So I saw movies there all the time. When I was in college, I went to the University of Maryland. So I would go, and like, I wouldn't even necessarily know what the movie was that was playing. It would just be like, I've got to stop studying. I've got to get out of my apartment. So I would just come here and go to some matinee. And I saw a lot of great movies that way, though. I wish I had more time to crochet. I used to do that more, but I don't have quite as much time to do that now. And I read a lot, but I used to read a lot much more. But now I have to read a lot for council. We have these very large packets that we get every week. So a lot of my brain power goes to reading that instead of, reading for pleasure. I do have a favorite book. It's The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. So I recommend everybody read it. It's been my favorite for a really long time. And then I also really love Horse by Geraldine Brooks, which is it's just a phenomenal book to read. And for TV shows, my favorite TV show is Parks and Recreation. And I've watched the whole thing through many times. My kids and I are rewatching it again. It's like, for me, that's like my comfort food, is watching that show, and it makes me laugh. And I think it actually captures some of the quirks of local government very well. And so it always makes me laugh. My kids always want to know, like, who's the Ron Swanson of Greenbelt, and yeah, it's very fun. So I think I would go to the past because, for my day job, I'm the senior editor of a magazine called Naval History. So I'm very immersed in the past, and I have like a huge fascination with polar exploration and just the kind of, and westward expansion, and like this idea of people who had this sort of, this desire to explore and go on these missions, these explorations where they knew that they probably weren't going to survive, and many of them didn't, but they sort of just went out into the vastness of the world. And I just think that it would be really interesting to be alive in a time when people sort of had that kind of curiosity about the world that I think we don't see as much now. Although maybe, now that we're talking about Mars exploration, that's coming back a little bit, this sort of intrepid Voyager, explorer. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges we have right now is economic development. And it's a hard time, not just for Greenbelt, but for everywhere. With the closures at the federal government and all the layoffs, it's hit our community really hard. There's a lack of employment for those folks, and there's a need to find new jobs. And there's also a need to bring new small businesses into our community because that's how we grow our tax base. So I think those are some of the challenges we're facing now. We have a great strategic plan. We have a great economic development plan. So I'm hoping in the next couple of years, as we start to implement all of that, we'll see some more growth. Yeah, we're really excited. One of the bond bills that we requested this year from the state legislature is for Buddy Attic Park to start working on the first couple of phases of that plan, and getting that cash infusion from the state would be great, just to give us a little boost. We've already done some work there. We have the new pavilions there, which look amazing and are getting great use, but it would be wonderful if we could have a new amphitheater and other amenities there. So really excited to see how that goes this year and hope that we can move that forward. I think I'd like them to remember me as someone who was easy to approach and talk to, someone who worked hard to solve their problems, and someone who worked hard to make sure that everyone in this city felt included and felt like there was space and a place for them here. I wish that more people knew the difference between the city council and the city government, that we have different roles, and that the city council can't solve every issue, because a lot of times the city government needs to solve those. That city government, our responsibility here on council is policy, and the responsibility of the actual government is administration. We don't really have much of a say in how the city runs day to day. That's not our job, So I wish more people sort of knew that about our city government. And I also wish that just more people knew all of the resources that we have that they could access, especially people who are having difficulties with their landlords. I think a lot of people don't know that we can help. The city can help them. They can call code enforcement. They can lodge complaints. And I think a lot of people don't know that. And I think I would like them to know better how to access that system, because I think that could really improve quality of life for many people. I don't know that I'm the great consensus builder of council, but, I think it's important to me when I think about that. What I think about is the fact that all 7 of us were elected. And we were elected because the people in this city trust us and trust our opinions and trust what we have to say and trust the decisions that we're making. And they don't necessarily trust one of us more than one of our opinions isn't necessarily more important than another. So I think it's really important to hear from everybody. And I think it's really important to try and find consensus where we can. But I think it's also important to understand that you can't make all of the people happy all of the time. And sometimes you need to move forward with the best decision and get as close to consensus as you can and move forward. I think we're very lucky on this council because we have a pretty vast range of experiences, both professional and life experiences to draw from. And I really do have a lot of respect for everybody who I serve with. So I want to hear what they have to say, even if it's not, in agreement with me, because I do respect what they have to say. And I know that they're maybe coming from a different place than me. And I want to understand where they're coming from. Oh gosh, there's so much that I love. Like, I really love our Honk Situation Band. I think that's like the coolest thing. And I love that they're everywhere, and I think that they're a great time. And I also love the Greenbelt utility pole. I mean, who else has a utility pole that has the following of the Greenbelt utility pole? And there are 2, and there are factions, and I love that. That's just, people have really embraced that, and and everyone's always just having fun, and that's amazing.